Virginia. McBride played for a great high school coach in Carl Kramer. Now he plays for a Hall of Fame coach in Bob Huggins. So watch out for Deuce McBride. And then on the other end, Bones Highland. We got a lot of nicknames in this game, people. He's the only returning starter for VCU. He dropped 15 in the first half, ended up with 23. VCU played like what you remember VCU playing under Shaka Smart over the last 10 minutes of the second half last night.
Mountaineers in the white uniforms controlled the opening tip with Deuce McBride running the show for Bob Huggins. He's guarded by a freshman, Adrian Ace Baldwin. That ball goes out of bounds, but it'll stay Mountaineers basketball. West Virginia coming in ranked 15th in the country, preseason number 3 in the Big 12, and there is the future Hall of Famer Bob Huggins, owner of 882 career wins. That's 6th all time.
And what I love about Huggins is he has all these wins, and he's always been the guy building the program, except for here, because Beeline did a great job taking over for me at West Virginia. But Huggins, you think about, he is right there with all the greats. Cincinnati was awful. He takes them to the Final Four in '92. Then Kansas State, now here at West Virginia. Bob Huggins is one of the true characters in college basketball and one of the all-time great coaches.
And what you're looking at is active coaches winning. Well, you got to look at the all-time list, because he is now just a handful of wins away from passing Bobby Knight on that all-time list. Needs 21 more wins to pass Bobby Knight. That's saying something.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, Coach Knight, I worked with him 16 years, man. Being number 1 meant a lot to him. He can say it didn't, but it was huge. And his people, Coach Knight, will be suffering as he drops down the list.
No doubt. You just saw a look at tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Sanford Health. It's a little bit of a different setup for these two teams. West Virginia has 4 starters back. 7 of their 10 in the rotation are upperclassmen, and 8 of them averaged 13 or more minutes a game last year. As for Mike Rhodes and VCU, they are young and inexperienced. 8 freshmen and sophomores, only 2 seniors on Mike Rhodes' roster. One of them has the ball right now. That's Levi Stocker, the transfer from Kansas State, and a rejection on the other end. Derek Culver starting things off strong for West Virginia. He went 1 for 2 from the free throw line, or 2 for 2 rather, and then gets a block there.
You know, Rich, we're high up, but you can see the difference in the bodies. Doesn't mean they're going to win West Virginia,
right,
but being older, being in the weight room for a couple of years in a program, big difference in body type.
And Mike Rhodes, when you talked to him when they arrived, went on Tuesday, a day before they were scheduled to play, the latest of the last replacements in this tournament. Mike Rhodes said, "I've always liked my guys here at VCU, but I've always had athletes. Now we have basketball players."
And you know what? We talked about it. Wichita State came, landed, tested, a couple positive. They had to go home. Liam Miller, who runs the tournament in 10 minutes, got VCU to come play, and VCU won a game.
That's Oscar Shibwe with the miss on the bunny. He only played 14 minutes in yesterday's quarterfinal win against South Dakota State. And that's an issue with Oscar Shibwe. He flirted with the NBA, went through the process, as they like to say, and came back. He has a ton of potential, but he's got to learn how to finish around the rim.
Well, you can't miss that shot and think you're going to play in the NBA. You can't miss that shot and think you're going to play in the G League.
Pull-up jumper no good, and Baldwin clears and runs the show. A freshman running point for VCU this year. Here's Corey Douglas, top of the key, off on the 3, and the rebound to Culver.
Well, that's a good look. West Virginia plays terrific help side defense, and they took advantage of it, and Douglas just missed it.
These are 2 of the more ferocious defenses you will see in college basketball, and they both played like it in their quarterfinal wins. Ball goes out of bounds, and the officials say it's going to stay West Virginia basketball. A couple of years ago, you had Press Virginia. A few years back with Shaka Smart, VCU was all about havoc. We saw some of that from both of these teams yesterday.
Yeah, we did, and particularly the Shaka Smart havoc. I thought over the last 10 minutes that was as good as I've seen VCU play really since the final 4 days. They were lights out to go ahead and win the game over Utah State.
McBride not shy in the early going. Gets it back, still can't find the bottom of the bucket. It's going to be West Virginia ball again, and this is going to be a recurring theme for this game, Dan. How is VCU going to hang with West Virginia on the boards?
And, you don't want this year if you're West Virginia. You don't want your best offense to be a missed shot. But right now it is, and they pound the backboard.
They need this kid to knock down some shots. He hit 2 threes yesterday, and Sean McNeil is off the mark on his first attempt. He's a JUCO transfer, got his first year under his belt last year, and Bob Huggins felt very strongly that this year he was going to show the shooting touch that made him one of the best JUCO players a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was 2 for 9 yesterday. He ended up with 16 points, so he's off to a good start. Only averaged about 5.5 last year, but he is a guy, when he has an open shot, he's got to make.
Another attempt, off the mark. Offensive rebound, Culver puts it back up, and Derek Culver will go to the line.
I'm telling you, we're on the baseline. And so the best thing that we can see is the action under the backboard on the West Virginia offensive side. And I mean to tell you, it is as fierce a team going to the backboard as I think I've ever seen in college basketball. Like, you have 3 monsters going and pounding into people here.
Yeah, you can't think of too many teams who are going to be able to contend with Derek Culver and an Oscar Tshiebwe at the same time.
Yeah, and the way basketball is, that's going to win you some games. But the truth is, if you're going to win championships, you got to make shots.
No doubt.
You got to be efficient from the 3-point line.
Here's Bones Highland.
West Virginia is overplaying everything. McBride got all over. Baldwin couldn't get the ball back, so VCU was stuck. That's something to watch. Don't watch the ball. Watch where West Virginia is relative to the yellow shirts. They're on top of them.
Bob Huggins exchanging pleasantries with the officials, as he's wont to do from time to time.
Yeah, Huggy, just argue the obvious things. It's Thanksgiving.
There's Baldwin. Now Highland. Lost the handle. Tshiebwe comes away with it. And here's Emmett Matthews giving it up to McBride. Early going, 3.5 minutes gone by. Not a lot of scoring, not a surprise.
Ooh. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Everybody's on top. All right, here you are. Now, if you can stop it real quick. On top, right here, into the ball, right here. This is what you want. Next pass, one pass, go ahead and get it going. The next pass, you're on top of the man. And then there's your help. There's your wall off. It's pretty good defense.
Another missed shot, and this time the VCU Rams come away with it. That's Keyshawn Curry coming up and trying to go coast to coast, but getting rejected again by Culver.
If you don't swing the ball against West Virginia, it's going to be a block party.
Tshiebwe, offensive rebound, led the nation in offensive rebounding percentage a year ago, and kicks it back out. Culver, the spin move, and he can't get it to go. And Derek Culver with the left hand.
Remember when you were a kid and there was that one big guy in basketball? He always stuck his big rear end under the basket, and he would put his hands up. That's what these two guys are against V. They're just a big kid.
Yeah. Derek Culver on the Jabbar watch list for best centers in basketball. Tshiebwe on the Karl Malone list in that category for power forwards. Oh, we have our first media timeout of this contest. The West Virginia Mountaineers pitching a shutout so far, 6-0 over VCU. having some technical issues here inside the Pentagon. We'll get those ironed out for you immediately. Rich Hollenberg, Dan Dockich. Hope you're having a great Thanksgiving. West Virginia shutting out the VCU Rams so far in the first 4.5 minutes of this contest. Here's the biggest of the big men for Mike Rhodes. That's Brendan Medley-Bacon, number 35 in goal, the 7'1" junior out of Baltimore, transfer from Coppin State. And you have to believe he's going to get some minutes today against the bigs from West Virginia.
Yeah, he is, but I'll tell you this, it won't matter unless they start reversing the basketball. West Virginia is going to guard you on a one-sided possession. You got to reverse the ball right to left, left to right, couple times, spread the defense, and then drive. Anything other than that, West Virginia swallows you up.
All the points coming from Derek Culver, 4 free throws and 1 bucket. Culver's on the bench right now, and McBride gets his first 2.
It's amazing how often we saw that same play work in the first game. A little up screen, using the big man to screen, and the help not there. You just can't keep the ball on the side. Look, you have no chance.
Gabe Osaboyan, number 3, who's checked in for Bob Huggins, and he is a Mountaineer defensive specialist, transferred from Arkansas, led the team in deflections and charges taken. And you know you will curry favor with Bob Huggins if you lead in those categories.
Yeah, you want to play? Do that.
Yeah.
Or make a jump shot.
They'll build a statue for you if you do that.
You make 2 in a row. They'll name the building after you.
Right next to Jerry West and Hot Rod Hundley. Hot Rod Thorne. Here's Vince Williams. Stumbles, no shot. What does VCU need to do to get on the score?
They don't have a post presence. Okay, I know they got a tall guy out there, but he's not going to go in on the block. I'm telling you, you got to get the ball swung, play through the top of the key down. If you play it on a side, you have no chance, because West Virginia smothers you, and then they get help opposite. Top of the key spreads the defense out. Or you launch a lucky 3.
Well, freshman Jameer Watkins in the game. Mike Rhodes going to be playing a lot of freshmen, especially in the early part of this season. Nice feed. Culver back on the floor, and he's got his second field goal and leads this game with 8 points.
Well, that time, the ball was in the middle of the floor for West Virginia, which opened it up, and McBride forced help. And when you force help and the help from a big comes up, watch, middle of the floor, now watch the help, 35, goes up. You can't go up to the ball handler because Culver, number 1, the big, will sneak behind. Watch 35 here. See him come up. You're done when you do that.
Derek Culver had 7 points and 14 rebounds against the Jackrabbits last night in their quarterfinal win. 6 double-doubles a year ago for Derek Culver, and he's often overlooked because you get a blue chipper like Oscar Tshiebwe coming in, and everyone's talking about him. Oscar Tshiebwe will succeed if Derek Culver is successful.
No, I agree, and they're going to play them both, and Culver, the more skilled of the 2, kid out of Youngstown, really knows how to play. I mean, you saw it there. He could have gone up ball side and got it blocked, but he used the basket, went to the other side. That's just great instinct.
And now Tshiebwe on the bench. He spent a lot of yesterday's game in that position as well.
See, there's just nowhere to go. You dribble it to the right. How many times has the ball gone out of bounds right into Bob Huggins and his staff's body? You cannot play there. You play through the middle. Right to Huggins. He doesn't want the ball.
Number 12 in white, Taz Sherman in the game. He's another JUCO transfer from last year. And he had a big night yesterday. 14 points on 4 for 6 from 3. McBride took it himself and hits a trick.
That was a very awkward offensive possession. They were running kind of split the high post, back screen, down screen, and really nobody knew what they were doing. Ball's on the right again.
Here's Highland taking it strong to the hole and got fouled. The specialty of Nashawn Bones Highland is shooting the three. He was 5 for 10 from distance yesterday with 23 points in their win. He shot at 47% from three in A-10 play last year.
Yeah, he was terrific, particularly late in the year. Yesterday, he kept him around in the first half. And then, you know what? Williams got going pretty good, hit 2 huge threes. Kid from Toledo St. John's, one of the great high school programs in our country.
Well, Highland breaks the seal. VCU's on the scoreboard, 13-1 now. Still have yet to manage a field goal against this ferocious West Virginia defense. It might not be press Virginia, although Bob Huggins will still show a press every now and then, but they're not pressing the way they used to when Javon Carter was at the head of that press. But they still can get into your jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're doing it in this game because they know that really there's not an experienced point guard out there for VCU, so each game is organic, and you figure it out. They figured out, look, this is a game we're going to get after you.
Number 5, Jordan McCabe on now for Bob Huggins running the show. He was the starting point guard all year last year. Gives it up to Culver. Shovel pass. Culver should have taken that himself. Instead, Sherman's off the mark on the jump shot.
Yeah, he should have, because where he gave it up wasn't going to happen for him. This is what I'm talking about. There's no experience out there, and bigger guys just swallowing him up, the point guard.
Nice up and under move, but still no field goals for VCU. And now Jamir Watkins, who grabbed the loose ball by the basket, will go to the line and shoot 2 free throws. Watkins was actually recruited by Bob Huggins in West Virginia, decided to go to Richmond, Virginia and play for VCU and Mike Rhodes. He's a 6'7" freshman out of Trenton, New Jersey. And he misses his first free throw attempt.
Huggy not happy with number 11, Emmett Matthews. Look at Matthews is actually explaining himself. Hands are flying, Huggins is pointing, Matthews is pointing, and that started right after Matthews didn't come up with the loose ball.
Watkins goes 1 for 2. There's Matthews on the bench.
Now what he's got to do is understand, I'm out, but I'm going to get another chance. There is no sulking in college basketball.
Especially not with Bob Huggins.
No, you know what you signed up for. You don't dive, you're going to get taken out. No big deal. You get a chance.
Jalen Bridges, number 2 in white, on the floor now for the Mountaineers. He's a very promising prospect as well. Here's a turnover from the VCU defense. And Hassan Ward dribbles it off his knee.
May I say something? This is a god-awful offensive game.
Otherwise, you could say offense at a premium here in Sioux Falls.
Horrible.
Game tomorrow. Who of these two teams will do it and meet them in the title game? Right now, it's a 13-3 lead for West Virginia, ranked 15th in the nation coming in. And you could look at it 2 ways. It's a defensive clinic or it's an offensive mess. Where do you fall?
I think West Virginia is putting on a defensive clinic. I think West Virginia is an offensive mess. I think that VCU is doing neither.
Sheway had an easy look and missed it despite getting the offensive rebound.
Man, it is amazing. There's all kind of drills, the Mikan drill, all these different things. And just watching big guys miss and be unsure from a foot away. You know what would solve that? You just tell them, look, make your best jump. Every time you get it around the bucket, your best jump. Try to put 2 hands on the backboard. And that solves a little bit of it. But it's frustrating. Got to be frustrating for the staff to watch the bigs at West Virginia miss layup after layup.
West Virginia had the 13th worst three-point field goal percentage in the nation last year. That one is up and in, and Derek Culver is dominating this contest.
Well, he's just bigger and stronger. I mean, that's just it. He just went right through the defender, Ward, had no chance.
A couple years ago, Derek Culver had a pair of 20-point, 20-rebound games as a freshman.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see probably 10 offensive rebounds into 20 rebounds, maybe more. That kid goes to the board hard.
They try to get it into Shibwe. He was sandwiched between Rams defenders, and a foul is going to be called on VCU. So already,
no, go ahead.
10:55 to go, and already West Virginia's in the 1-1.
And that's a real problem because not a greatest free throw shooting team, but they will put pressure on you. You know, the one thing about VCU, you got to be a little careful here. They were down yesterday and looked a little bit down and out, down as many as 10 in the second half. And I mean, the 18-0 spurt they put on was sensational. And I'm telling you, there will be a spurt out of VCU at some point.
There's Highland off the leak out, and that's going to be goaltending by Sherman. So we will count that as the first field goal for the VCU Rams. Bones Highland, their leading scorer from last night, 23 points against Utah State. He now has 4 in this one. And some full court pressure to try and get back in this game in the early going.
Well, the full court pressure has hurt West Virginia. It slowed them down.
Sherman
made them take shots like that they made.
Gets the floater.
Maybe they should take more shots like that.
Here's Levi Stockert. Lost the ball off his foot, but it will stay VCU basketball. These two teams haven't played each other since the mid-'80s. 1985 was the last time VCU met West Virginia. How about that? Surprising, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at me like I'm making that up.
No, I know you're not. I'm trying to think who the coach would have been. Gail Catlett, I assume, at West Virginia. And Don DeVoe. No. Good cut.
Nice curl. That's Keyshawn Curry with his first 2.
Yeah, really nice cut on the inbounds. Well set up by Mike Rhodes. Tell you, this is a good press. This has slowed West Virginia down big time. They're having trouble getting into any kind of offense.
Here's McNeil, guarded by Highland. Step back, way off the mark. And a fight for the loose ball. It's out of bounds. Time will stop with 9:56 to go.
Hey, reading the defense. Watch number 11. He comes. Defender right there chases. Number 2 chases number 11. Number 11 reads it, curls, no help, layup. Really, really nice read. Very nice read on the inbounds. That was well set up.
Now Mikkel Brown-Jones, number 2 in gold, makes his first appearance for Mike Rhodes. Another youngster, freshman out of Philadelphia. And the tip-in is good from Levi Stockert.
That's a great play by VCU. They drove the ball in the middle. They used the middle of the floor, and help came, opened up the backboard. That's how you have to play against West Virginia.
Shibwe, shot fake. High hedge by Stockert, and he got back to battle Shibwe. And Oscar Shibwe has his first field goal of the game.
Man, that was pretty good by Culver. He read the ball was in trouble, so he went to the top of the key, played high-low.
Off the hands of Brown-Jones, out of bounds, and another unforced error from VCU.
Well, they had the defense spread. They had a high-low. The ball by Stockert was just thrown too hard.
That's 5 turnovers for Mike Rhodes' Rams. Mike Rhodes, a D3 legend as a player and as a coach. He earned his stripes, was an assistant for Shaka Smart when they made that fantastic run to the Final Four in 2011. Went on to take the head coaching job at Rice from 2014 to 2017. And has now returned back to Richmond to take over this program. And he doesn't necessarily want to bring havoc back, but he wants that same kind of energy, that same kind of culture.
Yeah, and I like what he's doing. He's picking up here full court. He's got a young team. He's got young bodies. They haven't been in the weight room, 3 summers or anything like that. So he's going to have growing pains. But getting everybody to play hard, understand their roles is where he's at right now. It's interesting out of VCU, Mo Alley Cox. Remember Mo Alley Cox?
Playing the NFL now.
Man, is he good with the Colts. Never played football, obviously, in college. I don't think VCU has football. And Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Colts, found him, gave him a tryout, loved him, put him on a practice squad for a couple years, and now I'm not sure he's all pro, but he's darn good.
Highland with the take, no good. And a foul called on VCU. That's Isaiah Cottrell who grabbed the loose ball, a 6'10 freshman out of Las Vegas. A top 100 recruit for Bob Huggins. He doesn't get a whole lot of those to come to Morgantown, but Cottrell came. He did a prep year at Huntington Prep in West Virginia. That probably helped.
Bob Huggins has won with and developed more guys that I'm not going to say nobody heard of, but were certainly not on the national radar. And this is going back to Herb Jones and Nick Van Exel, guys like that back at Cincinnati. Eric Martin, who's on his staff right now.
Well, when you talk about McDonald's All-Americans, that's kind of the benchmark for an elite high school player. Oscar Sheboy is only the second McDonald's All-American to enroll at West Virginia.
Yeah, and you think about, you mentioned Javon Carter. I mean, that kid, he's playing great in the NBA.
Yeah, just re-signed with Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, this is a storied, historical program, man. John Beilein came into the biggest mess. I left. I said, to heck with this, when the president kind of went at my wife and I, and John came in, and I swear to you, it's the best coaching job that I ever saw when he was at West Virginia.
McNeil for 3.
And John's teams did that right there at West Virginia. They were different than Bob's teams. John's teams, man, with his son, they spread it out, shot it in, and Air Bear and Tyrone Sally and Pittsnoggle. Great teams. West Virginia, great history. Rod Thorne, Hot Rod Hundley. The logo. There's a new logo in town.
Happy Thanksgiving, boys. Rich Hollenberg, Dan Dockich back in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. What have we seen so far from this game?
We've seen great defense by West Virginia. They are on top of wings. They are playing really hard on the defensive end. We've seen a young team in VCU that's been knocked back, Rich. They just haven't seen this kind of pressure, length, and size, and we've seen fantastic offensive rebounding by the team you expect to have fantastic offensive rebounding, West Virginia.
And Brown Jones hits the first free throw. 24-10, West Virginia lead.
I think West Virginia has a chance to be really, really good. Like, they're not there yet offensively, but you know what? Who's going to be, really?
That's true.
And if they can get a couple guys going, McBride in particular shooting, McNeil, they're going to guard. They didn't rebound there, but they're going to rebound. This is going to be a terrific team, I believe.
Well, that caps a 7-0 run from West Virginia over the last minute and a half. Buckets have been hard to come by for the Rams. McNeil. And here's Curry on the leak out. And a foul called. 7:25 to go in the first half. Well, the 2K Empire Classic Championship game is coming up later tonight on ESPN. It'll be 3rd-ranked Villanova and 18th-ranked Arizona State. That's at 9:30 Eastern. So after you wake up from your Thanksgiving nap, you can watch some college hoops to cap off your Thanksgiving evening.
What is it? Tryptophan? What is this?
Tryptophan.
Tryptophan. Yeah.
Where do you think Villanova ranks in your top teams to start the year?
Number 1, 2, or 3. I mean, Gonzaga looks really good playing Kansas. I think Villanova, they struggled yesterday. But again, we're talking about opening night, and Boston College is an ACC team, for crying out loud. I think the game with Arizona State will be a really high-scoring game today. And I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch later on.
Here's Bones Highland, and he has an and one opportunity.
See, And then Highland steps over the West Virginia player and gets a technical foul. Great play. I mean, this is fantastic. Taking the ball the entire way, defense not quite set, and then he stares at him, kind of yells at him, and now he gets a technical foul.
So now Highland gets whistled for the technical foul, and Mike Rhodes is going to circle his troops as Sean McNeil will step to the line and shoot the technical free throw.
Yeah, that's just not what you need. You're battling like crazy. You're playing a team that's physically better than you, so every point matters. You got a little run here, and you just do something that you can't do.
You almost get the feeling like yesterday's win, they were playing on adrenaline. They only had about 24 hours to prep for their game. And now today it might be catching up to
little reality check.
Yeah.
And now look, let's be honest, you're playing a really good team.
Right.
And a Hall of Fame coach with guys that are bought in for playing defense the way Bob Huggins wants them to play defense.
So now Highland, albeit delayed, completes that three-point play. He has 7. And more full court pressure set up after the make. Emmett Matthews, number 11 in white, is going to trigger the inbounds for West Virginia. And now a newcomer, Kedrian Johnson, is in and almost...
I'm telling you, they've played bad.
Yeah.
But they press, and there were times, and people always remember, you know, a Final Four run, right? That's what obviously you remember with VCU. But there were times during that year, even in the tournament, they really struggled, and then they would go through a stretch like they did yesterday, VCU, where guess what? Boom! They go on an 18-0 run. This game has a bit of a feel like that. It feels like West Virginia should be up 20 right here.
Right. Here's one of the veterans, one of the few veterans on the floor for VCU. Vince Williams, a 6'6" junior out of Toledo, makes both free throws as the Rams try to crawl their way back into this game. Down 26-17 with 7:08 to go in the first half. The winner faces Western Kentucky in the Bad Boy Mowers Crossover Classic Championship game. And a foul called.
Boy, Mike Rhodes was upset. They had the trap right where they wanted the trap. Thought they were going to get a steal. And watch, right here. You want to trap that right there.
Ooh, did you see something?
No, but the referee was very positive that there was a foul.
He was adamant.
Yeah, he was.
Demonstrative. Osaboyan misses his first free throw attempt. West Virginia shot 64% from the line as a team last year. And Osaboyan goes 1 for 2. Here comes Trey Clark, number 12 in gold, handling the point guard duties now for Mike Rhodes. Williams, step back 3.
Shot.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what he did yesterday. He came off the bench, drilled 2 big threes, kind of off the top of the key area at 15. This is the havoc right here.
Are you kidding me? Did you see what Derek Culver did?
I did. I saw him also get a little out of control there and foul, but that was a great dribble. Look at this. This is what Williams does. Little James Harden.
Yeah.
Right? Tell you what, he played at a great high school. St. John's in Toledo, Ohio is one of the great high school programs in the United States.
Well, both teams in the double bonus already. We still have 6.5 to go in the first half. It's going to be that kind of a game, Dockage.
Yeah, it is. It's a 6-point game, right? I mean, this feels like VCU hasn't had any offense. But again, going back to Mike Rhodes and his team, he knows that they've got to stir it up. It's got to get mucky. You know what I mean? It's just got to be one of these deals where nobody can get comfortable for West Virginia.
VCU has crawled back in this game. They're on an 11-3 run right now to make it just a 5-point deficit against 15th ranked West Virginia. Osaboyan. Off the window, no. Clark the rebound.
Wow.
Goes straight down Broadway and draws the foul.
I'll tell you this, though. That was a great move, a great drive, but West Virginia will hustle. Like, they're not giving up on plays. Their bigs will run the floor. Their guards will get back on defense. They will hustle. Watch, guys coming in from behind with the old LeBron D-Wade swat.
Yeah, there are a few non-negotiables for Bob Huggins, and hustle is one of them.
You got to be tough. You got to hustle. You play hard, and you rebound. And if you don't do those things, guess what? You're probably not going to get on the court.
Foul on the floor. VCU will go back to the free throw line. So Keyshawn Curry goes to the line for the first time this afternoon.
Let me ask you a question. You've covered a ton of West Virginia games.
Yes, sir.
Maybe more than anybody at our network over the last 10 years. What do you think of this year's West Virginia team?
I think they have a chance to be special, if only because I've seen what the Sean McNeils and the Taz Shermans could do in a practice setting. They have yet to show that in a game time setting, but you take Bob Huggins at his word, and coming into this season, I mean, as much as people who don't know Bob Huggins think he's a doom and gloom and a gruff guy, he's really a happy guy.
He really is.
A real positive, optimistic guy. And he said he thinks his team is going to shoot it better this year.
Does it concern you because that they don't have a point guard, you know, someone that can handle this pressure? Because the pressure's hurt them right now. Look, they're not in an offense right now.
Yeah. That was not what you would call an offensive set.
No. But again, they're not afraid to muck it up either. Right? But having seen them, I think this could be a very good West Virginia team. But I'm sitting here going, wait a second now. They could get offensively challenged because who's really going to go and break it down in a game like this where the other team's quick and pressing?
That's a fair point for sure. Even more important than that, I think if Culver and Shibwe can finish around the basket, I think that will eliminate a lot of their outside shooting woes.
Well, that calms the whole thing down. It's what we saw Basie do today.
Right.
You know, when things were going a little south maybe for Western Kentucky, they were able to throw it into the post. And you know what? He handled the situation.
And Charles Bassey good today.
He was so good today.
Almost had a triple-double. 3 blocks shy of a triple-double for junior Naismith candidate Charles Bassey for Western Kentucky.
You see what I'm talking about playing in the middle of the floor, Rich?
Yeah.
When you play on a side, they smother you. When you play in the middle of the floor, they're so good defending the wings and overplaying that you can't do both. Look at this.
Clark again. Back-to-back buckets for Jimmy Trey Clark.
This is where I really believe, you know, that's a great play by Culver, but the run here is because there's no real point guard that can. Sometimes you scheme to beat a press, but the really good teams, hey man, give me the damn ball, I'm gonna go beat this press, right? And they don't have that at West Virginia, and you see right here, VCU's taking advantage of it.
Yeah. Hugs tried that last year. Jordan McCabe started, I think, just about every game. The problem is Jordan McCabe went through an awful season of shooting, 31% from the field, 21% from 3. And now Jordan McCabe is coming off the bench at this point. We're only 2 games into the season. And Culver completes the 3-point play.
But you just got to, you know, modern basketball, guys are so good with the basketball. Like, kids can dribble it better than kids ever could, I'm telling you. And you just need a guy.
Yeah. Well, we have another foul and a stoppage of play at 4:44 to go in the first half. West Virginia has led throughout. They were pitching a shutout about 6 minutes into this game, but now they lead by just 5, 32-27 over VCU, and the Rams offense starting to come around. 5 for their last 6 from the field.
Well, they're stirring it up defensively.
Right.
That's first and foremost. They're playing in the middle of the floor, spreading the court out. Rich, this is our third game. This is the first time we've had a stoppage where an official went to the scores table. That's unprecedented to get through. This is our fourth game, excuse me. It's unprecedented to get through 3 games and not have it happen once.
That is cause enough to celebrate.
Hey, if I could real quick, happy Thanksgiving to Teddy Valentine, the referee. I just got a text from him. He's watching. One of my favorite people. Screwed us in '92 in the Final Four.
What coach can't say that about an official?
I love
TV Teddy, though.
I tell you this,
he's an all-timer.
He is. If you're a visiting player, a coach, you want Ted Valentine on the game because he doesn't care about the call. Yeah. He doesn't care about the crowd. He sees a call, he's going to make it.
I call Teddy Valentine the honey badger of officials because Teddy Valentine don't care.
He don't care. No.
Shibwe?
Like when you had him at home, you're like, oh, man, he's going to call this straight up. We're not going to get any homer calls. Teddy's great official.
Oscar Shibwe, 1 day shy of his 21st birthday. He'll celebrate that tomorrow, and he's hoping it's going to be in the championship game. Right now, his Mountaineers are up 7, 34-27. And the follow slam. That's Josh Banks with his first 2.
Much more comfortable, right? VCU?
Yeah. Well, it's taken them a while, 16 minutes, but they're in the flow now. Shibwe. Yes. 6 points now for Shibwe.
Middle of the floor, layup.
And he's got it.
I'm telling you, making Shibwe play out on the top of the key. He doesn't have great lateral quickness. So you get him in a ball screen on top, make him play a couple things. Ooh,
Homer has been a revelation this half. 15 points for Derek Culver.
Well, he's the biggest, strongest, most athletic guy on the court. And you know what he's doing, Rich? He's playing like it.
Yeah. And he puts it in that spin cycle. He looks really good. Shibwe clears. And now Derek Culver's grabbing his thumb like he jammed it. Gonna have to keep an eye on that.
You know who's been good? Trey Clark. Came up with a steal right there. He's been very, very good in this game. He's picked up the pace and the confidence for VCU.
There's a 3 from McNeil. And Bob Huggins loves seeing that. The second triple of the afternoon for the 6'3" junior out of Union, Kentucky. Trey Clark. He's swinging around.
You got to get it out of there, get it reversed, and you'll get something.
Williams goes right into the chest of Shibwe, no call. And no follow. Shibwe.
He just ripped it out of the hands of VCU.
That's what he can do, man.
He did.
He could be a beast. And McBride, aggressive to the hole, draws the foul and will go to the line. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's, home for the holidays, and Amica, auto, home, and life insurance. Gotcha, fellas. Derek Culver going.
Hey, I guarantee you.
Academy time.
I'm telling you right now, if LaFonso, who is America's nicest human being, got on the court, I don't care if his son was there or Derek Culver's son was there, LaFonso Ellis would have been the best big on that damn court. I'll tell you right now.
He used to eat people's lunches, man.
Oh, man. And do it with a smile. He is America's nicest human being.
Although he was not that way on the floor. You get him in between the lines. I mean, I remember him from his Notre Dame days because he came up to the Carrier Dome and beat us when we were freshmen on a buzzer beater. But even in his NBA days, man, he was ferocious.
Fonz, myself, Jay Billis, Seth Greenberg. We've got the Bald-Headed Club going, which I'm a new member of. Very excited. Joined those guys, paid my dues to Billis. Everybody pays the lawyer.
You look young and skinny with a shaved head. I like it.
Appreciate you. It's a big minute and a half right here for VCU. VCU, if they don't get a couple stops in a bucket, they're going to go into halftime 14-15 down.
Shibwe.
That's just a throw.
Tried to play through a double team to no avail. Brown Jones can't get it to go from close range, and it'll be West Virginia basketball. Derek Culver on the bench for Bob Huggins. He's been the best player on the floor so far in this game. 15 points, 8 rebounds, and jammed his thumb. It'll be interesting to see if that's going to hinder him in the second half. You see him with a towel over his left thumb, or make it that his right thumb.
See, this is what I'm saying. The ball handler he's handling the ball and he's doing a good job. But if you had a blur out there, you beat this press. You know what I mean? And now look at how hard this possession is. It leads to a travel. But McCabe is a very good ball handler. Don't get me wrong. But there was a gap for a guy that was a blur with the ball. They would have gotten a layup off of that press. And that's just a little difference. Doesn't mean you can't win a ton of games. But that's just one little element that I believe over the course of the year is going to hinder West Virginia a little bit.
45 seconds to go. Mountaineers with an 11-point cushion over the VCU Rams, looking to advance to the title game here in Sioux Falls. Oscar almost made the catch, went off his fingertips out of bounds.
Yeah, but you can't make that pass. I mean, if you make it and you miss it long, that's fine. Okay, he did. But there is no way that ball is going to be caught on the dead run under the bucket and laid in. You got the end of the clock or the end of the half, just get a good possession, but that's part of the learning curve that these teams are going through right now.
Shot clock and game clock are virtually identical. Osaboyan's going to be called for the foul and send Vince Williams to the line.
Pretty good pressure just to get the ball to the top of the key. I mean, it's just hard to move the ball against West Virginia. Osaboyan got a little bit excited.
You saw Associate Head Coach Larry Harrison on the West Virginia bench completely perplexed at why they're committing a foul that far out.
Well, what Larry, who's been with Huggy forever, and then he went and became a head coach at Hartford, and he came back with Hugs. He's saying, look, that's not even close to how tough our practices are in the Coliseum.
And a timeout called, use it or lose it, for Bob Huggins. He had his full complement of timeouts, so why not call one here with 13.4 left, try to get one good shot and a little extra momentum heading into the locker room. What do you think he's going to do, Dan?
Well, I'm not sure, but I think it involves throwing the ball in the middle of the court, down, high, low, at the end of whatever misdirection he decides to run. He's putting Culver back in, so it'll involve Culver either at the top of the key, making the pass, or on the block, getting the pass. You see, he's going with 2 X's. If Larry would move his head, we could show you there's 2 O's underneath the bucket. And it looks like they're going to come up with a double high ball screen, probably roll one of the bigs to the block, pop the other big, and play high-low.
That is tremendous camera work by our crack production crew here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. A peek inside the huddle of Bob Huggins and the West Virginia Mountaineers. Well, you know, Bob had hip surgery a couple of years ago, and that's why there's a stool out on the sidelines. Clearly, he's feeling much better now.
Don't look at the ball. Look at Huggy hopping. Get up, Hugs. Get off the court. Get off the court.
That's got to be a minimum of 2 phone books.
I don't think so.
No?
No. You know, maybe like, I don't know.
Well, it might
Small town USA phone book,
it
right?
might be a phone book for South Dakota. They only have 800,000+ people in the entire state. So
well, this
maybe
trap
here.
took away anything that Huggy wanted to do.
Time running out, no good from Miles McBride. A defense-dominated first half. Somehow West Virginia managed 42 points, and they have a 9-point lead over VCU. Going to the locker rooms, 42-33 is your score. We'll be back with the second half in just a little bit, but first, we go back to the studio. KC, Fonz, and the coach. Week presented by Lowe's, and we are about to start the second half of the second semifinal with the West Virginia Mountaineers up 9, 42-33 on the VCU Rams. It was a defense-dominated first half, Dan.
You said it. At the end of the half, somehow West Virginia got to 42 points. And you know what? VCU getting to 33 is kind of amazing. They didn't get a field goal for the first 8 minutes of the ball game. I think you'll see the same thing. I think you'll see West Virginia get in a stance, try to keep the ball on the side. And you'll see VCU try to muck it up a little bit with some Mike Rhodes-style havoc.
If you're just tuning in, VCU is in the gold uniforms. They start with the ball to start this second half. Here's Levi Stockard. Off the mark, Culver the rebound. And Derek Culver is working on a double-double. He was by far the best player on the floor in the first half.
Yeah, he did everything you want a guy to do, particularly as a leader in the semifinal of a tournament. He rebounded, he played within himself, he talked to his teammates.
Culver. Left-handed jump shot, no good from the elbow, and that's not the strength of his game.
And he knew it. He didn't want to shoot it. Smart by VCU.
Stockard goes right up against Culver, gets the foul, and Levi Stockard III will go to the line.
You know, that was interesting because fundamentally, West Virginia is terrific defensively in all areas. But Culver, after missing that shot, really gave up post position to Stockard without a whole lot of effort or foot movement, and Stockard took advantage of it. That was odd. You don't see that out of West Virginia very often.
Levi Stockard, a 6'8" senior from out of St. Louis by way of Kansas State. Spent 3 years under the tutelage of Bruce Weber, not getting a lot of playing time in Manhattan, Kansas, and decided to try his luck in the Commonwealth with Mike Rhodes, and he brings a veteran presence to a Rams team that is in desperate need of it.
Absolutely, and he had a great deal of maturity right there, just making sure he went up through Culver to get fouled.
Culver inside, but a foul on the floor. That's going to go on number 11, Bones Highland, or rather Keyshawn Curry. Check that. Curry called for the foul.
Well, it was a terrific cut, a little open post motion. Bob Huggins used to run that at Cincinnati, keep the middle open and back cut through and fill the top of the key. And right there, you got that.
Matthews off the catch, offensive rebound. Shibwe lost the handle. Bounce pass and converted. Corey Douglas's first 2 of the afternoon.
Rich, I say it all the time. Big guys, just run the middle of the floor. Just run. And if you run, you will get rewarded most times. Terrific pass, but just running the floor gets you buckets when you're Corey Douglas.
Here's another turnover. Rick Barnes calls that the shoot, right? Run the shoot.
We used to call it Main Street. Run Main Street. Run right down Main Street.
Right. Wishing Rick feeling better. He was diagnosed as COVID positive, and that is one of the reasons why VCU is here. They were supposed to go to Knoxville to take on the Vols, and that game obviously canceled.
Well, you get a chance to come here, you got to take it because you get 3 good games in a great town. But VCU also, because Wichita State showed up here, a couple positives, they literally went to the hotel and went back home. And 10 minutes later, the great Liam Miller got it done.
Off the Highland miss, here comes McNeil for the Mountaineers. These are 2 of the fiercer defenses you will see all season long, and they've shown it so far in this semifinal. And an errant pass from Osaboyan out of bounds.
Let's think about who's making the plays now. Osaboyan making a play, not good. Culver trying to make a play. They need to be finishing the play, and the 3 perimeter guys need to be making the play. Big opportunity here. I think I'd go down to the post again and play out of the post were I VCU. The high-low, there he is.
Stockard. And the three ball is good by Baldwin Jr. Ace Baldwin with his first points on the afternoon.
And they played inside out. They got the ball, they went high-low. Stockard got it down the line. Draw the defense, knocked it in.
Just the second three-pointer of the afternoon for the VCU Rams. Still within shouting distance. Back-to-back missed threes, but Culver comes away with it again. And can't finish from close range. He'll go to the line instead.
Man, as a coach, that'll make you put back things you never stole right there. You can't make a layup. You got to make these layups. Look, play inside out. Draw the defense. And next thing you know, West Virginia loves help side defense. So you can use that to your advantage. You draw the help side, you kick it to the shooter, and you got a great look.
Here's some glass half full for you. Derek Culver is about a 50% career free throw shooter. He hasn't missed from the free throw line yet today.
Well,
so
West Virginia fans can now bring your hate away from me to Rich when he misses this one.
Well, there we go.
Yes.
But still, at this point,
there's no doubt he was missing that one.
He's 6 for 7. That's still good.
There you go.
There's Levi Stockard.
Not settling. Ball was taken by Curry to the rim. The defense came. Again, you're using the overhelp by West Virginia, and now the backboard is open. Don't settle for a freaking jump shot if you're VCU, or at least make 4 or 5 passes and then a jump shot. Who's making the play?
Almost another turnover for the Mountaineers. So far, West Virginia with 11 turnovers compared to 7 by VCU.
This is playing inside out. Look how many guys are standing around. You draw 2, opens up the backboard. Stockard got to the rim.
Taz Sherman catch and shoot, and no.
Chance for a tie here.
And another missed layup. Stop me if you've heard this before. McNeil, corner 3. Offensive rebound. That's the best part of West Virginia's game.
Man, they attack the backboard.
10 on the shot clock for West Virginia. Here's Sherman, little step back, and got it.
Well, that was sweet.
I think their shooting is better when they're in rhythm. You know, come off a dribble like that or a step back like that, because it doesn't seem like the set plays are really working for them.
They're unsure in their set plays, meaning they're not. When you are sure, you're sprinting through them.
Right.
Here, they're kind of jogging when they get in the set because they're uncomfortable.
That foul's going to go on Osaboyan. We have a timeout on the floor. Take me home, country roads. Take me to the bucket, Taz Sherman. Talented point guards on both ends of the floor for Bob Huggins, and they could use someone like that. Miles McBride certainly growing into that role.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a kid that was 2-time All Big 12, All Big defensive team. Went over to Finland, became the MVP there, the foreign MVP, meaning, the American kids. Yeah, long line, man, going back to Hot Rod Hundley, Jonathan Hargett, Truck Bryant. And then, of course, Javon Carter, who casts a long shadow over this program. When you looked at Javon Carter and the way he played, he just didn't want to play against him. You know what I mean? Like, he got into you. He was in a stance. He didn't care what was happening around the game. He was just going to play hard, and he was going to do exactly what 11's doing right here. Just kind of play you that way all day. Just get up into you.
Yep. National Defensive Player of the Year a few years back.
I forgot Staten had started at Dayton for a year before coming over to West Virginia.
McNeil, short. Osaboyan gathers it. McNeil again. Rhythm 3 for Sean McNeil.
And that was really good by Osaboyan. He went and got the ball, didn't try to do something he couldn't do, and McNeil relocated left, and you know what? Didn't worry about a miss. You got to be like a cornerback in the NFL. You miss, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, Sean McNeil is no stranger to scoring. He led junior college basketball 2 years ago in points per game.
Now watch McNeil, top of your screen, 20. He slides over to the open area. You're a young player. Don't stand around. Always be looking. Always be hunting shots. It's selfish of you to just stand back there and ask for the ball. Team guy goes and puts himself in a good position.
Here's Trey Clark at the free throw line, misses the first one. We've seen a lot of fouls, a lot of free throws, and a lot of empty possessions in this game. One for 2 for Clark, gives
Clark's
him
been
5.
good. Clark's been really good. In fact,
1 for 2 for Clark, gives
Clark's
him
been
5.
good. Clark's been really good. In fact,
The Crossover Classic, 15th ranked West Virginia up a dozen on VCU 54-42. Coming up tomorrow, it's a college football triple header. Number 13, Iowa State. Number 17, Texas. A Big 12 matchup kicking things off at noon Eastern on ABC. Then number 2, Notre Dame squaring off against number 19, North Carolina. And finally at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, a rivalry game between 15th ranked Oregon and Oregon State from Corvallis.
I'll tell you this, Matt Campbell, former Toledo coach, now at Iowa State, has done a great job at Iowa State. I mean, as good a job as anybody's done in the country.
And just tying that back to basketball, Iowa State just had another player drafted, Tyrese Halliburton, going to the Sacramento Kings. Congratulations to him and Steve Prohm and the gang. West Virginia working on an 11-2 run to extend this lead to 12, and they get a shot clock violation.
That was really good defense and kind of like not nonsensical, kind of useless movement by VCU. They did a lot of weaving, and all West Virginia did was just stay with their man. That's all they did. They just either that or they switched it. Here's a little weave. You just stay with your man. All right, here's a handoff. You just, you show, you switch, you're back, you rotate, and nobody recognized top of your screen. 3, 2, 1, 0. It was just solid by West Virginia.
Now we're seeing a healthy dose of full court pressure from Mike Rhodes and the Rams, handled this time by the Mountaineers. McNeil.
Man.
Culver got it back. Culver off the window.
And just the battle underneath the board. Toshibe just knocked it back to Culver. He was in a bad spot, but he just muscled it, tipped it.
Here's a 3 by Jameer Watkins, his first field goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, big switch to Watkins. He said, "The heck with this." He just lifted up and drilled it.
Taz Sherman, Sean McNeil, both on the floor, both shooting it better of late. Now they're basically coaches on the floor.
Now they're basically confused.
5 on the shot clock. Shibwe knocks down the foul line jump shot.
That looked better than him around the basket. That looked comfortable.
I agree. Stockard lost the handle. And it's blocked by Shibwe. End to end for Oscar Shibwe. Let's see if they get it to him again. They do. And a foul called before the shot.
Shibwe's been pretty good, and as I said earlier, the West Virginia bigs, man, they know who they are, and maybe Shibwe is a mid-range shooter to go along with a beast underneath.
Are nice enough to put us on camera. I could say hi to my family back in St. Petersburg, Jill and Jason and Lindsay and Brian and the crew. Love you guys. I know you're watching right now. Who's in the Dockage clan?
Hey, my beautiful wife, the lovely Lee Ross Dockage. My son at Elon College with Mike Schrage. They got their first win. My daughter teaches school in Nashville, Laura Dockage. I got mother-in-law, Sandy Ross at the house. Stepson, Jared Shaw. Awesome Thanksgiving. My wife made a big old bird.
And the only reason I knew my family was watching because they just texted me.
Well, I guarantee you my family's not. But hopefully somebody that knows him is and sends him a text, and I'm thinking about it.
Hey, by the way, Oscar Tshiebwe is starting to take over this game.
He is.
Up ahead, Culver. Oh, he missed a close one again.
But he didn't give his best jump. I'm telling you, he gave a lazy jump there, and then nobody got back, and it's a three-point play.
What happened to the dunk?
I don't know. He just, not nonchalanted, but big guys have to make their best jump.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jimmy Jackson, legend at Ohio State.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy watching sent me a text that he loves the bald look. Jimmy has always had good taste. Happy Thanksgiving.
Did he mention the play-by-play guy?
He did not. I'm sorry.
Not this time? Okay.
Jimmy and I worked together at the Big Ten Network and had an absolute blast.
4 on the shot clock. McNeil's going to have to squeeze it off. And he traveled with it instead. So you look at the score sheet, Dan, and this is turning into a, fortunately or unfortunately, vintage West Virginia game. Derek Culver, 18 points, 15 boards. Oscar Tshiebwe, 10 points, 10 boards. And they're shooting 38% from the field.
Yeah, but, you know, and this is what's important in modern college basketball. It's 13-point game, right? And it got to 13 because they hit 2 straight threes. And that's so big in the game, whether it's the NBA, whether it's college, whether it's high school basketball. You've got to be able to go on those mini runs.
Yep.
And if everything has to be a struggle to score, you're going to get beat because the other team's probably going to go on a mini run.
Yeah. Oscar had 10 double-doubles his freshman year in Morgantown. Has his first one this season now.
That was a great play. Not good. That was a great play by Highland. He faked the West Virginia player into making a turnover. Watch this. See if I can draw something up here for you and you can get a look on what I'm talking about. All right, watch the man right here. I'm sorry, wrong guy. The man right here. Watch Highland. Ball screen coming. Splits. He comes in and he fakes and jumps back and gets his hands above his elbows and gets the steal. That is terrific. You don't always have to commit to the ball. It's called fake trapping. You fake at the ball with the side of your body that's ball side. And then you can make a play back to your man.
Jameer Watkins on the line, freshman out of Trenton, New Jersey, part of 8 freshmen and sophomores who are going to see significant playing time this year. Going to be a growing process for Mike Rhodes.
There's no question it is, and this is a great game for them. You know, they're not getting blown out here. They're in this ball game. We saw it yesterday with an 18-0 run. This is a great thing for a young team to play a tough West Virginia team.
So something we've seen a lot of this afternoon, a VCU full court press out of a make.
Apologies to Elon University. I said Elon College. Awful. Elon University, one of America's most beautiful universities.
Would that be assistant coach Andrew Dockage letting you know about that?
No, it was not. It was another friend of mine, and I thank him for that. They better be in practice. 3 practices a day when you're playing college basketball over Thanksgiving. Don't at me about it, people.
Out of bounds, it'll be West Virginia basketball. Well, Derek Culver has another 20-point effort. His 3rd career 20-point game. Now it's 4 career 20-point games, and 2 of those were 20-point, 20-rebound games as a freshman.
I'm not going to be surprised if he doesn't lead the country in double-doubles. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to be surprised
how many misses he's going to be rebounding.
Yeah. Yeah, and how he goes to the backboard, you know. Oh, wow, that's
nice take by
athletic.
Emmett Matthews, his first bucket of the game. You know, we mentioned Andrew Dockage. I don't know if you remember this, a couple years ago, I think it was the first time you and I ever worked together. We did an Illinois-Michigan game, and it went to overtime, and Andrew played a major part in the outcome of that game.
Yeah, let me put it to you this way. I'm incredibly proud of my son. He went as a walk-on to Michigan, had influence, transferred to Ohio State, and had a great year with Jayshawn Tate, who, by the way, Jayshawn Tate, who lived with us for a while, just signed a deal with the Houston Rockets, and I'm so excited for Jayshawn because he's one of the great guys ever in college basketball.
Mike Rhodes trying to get his team back in this one. Hands up if you're VCU.
Let me give you the converse to that. West Virginia has 64 points with 8 minutes to go. I'm not a mathematician. That's at least 70, 75,
this
right?
This is true, and a bulk of those points are coming from their twin towers. Culver and Sheedway have combined for 30 points and 26 rebounds.
I'm telling you, West Virginia is Final Four good if they can get consistent play, and the new key, as I'm watching the second half, is Emmett Andrews Jr., number 11. He is the key to this whole deal moving forward. He's long, he's athletic, he can finish. He's just different offensively than everybody else.
Matthews, the left-handed jumper from beyond the arc, nothing but air that time.
And he can't shoot, apparently.
And the lay-in at the other end for Jameer Watkins. Watkins with 8.
Air ball into layup on the other end of the court is timeless in college basketball.
That's not going to make Hugs happy.
Somebody got to come to the middle.
And a timeout forced. Miles McBride calls it, and now West Virginia uses their first timeout of the second half. We'll step aside for 30 seconds. Be back right after this.
100%.
Tatty, batty. The flavor, the way they cook it, the way they season it, the way that it's made. Queso burger.
How about no?
No.
No way.
Come on, no.
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 Only Discover has no annual fee on any card.
There's the 1977 graduate of West Virginia who has come back home to mount the Mountaineers on another run to what they hope is a deep run in the national championship campaign. Bob Huggins, 882 wins. He's 7 minutes and 16 seconds away from 883 and climbing those charts. Biggest problem for Huggs in that list, and he doesn't really care about that list right now, but he's got Roy Williams right ahead of him, and Roy won yesterday, and Roy's going to keep winning. So it's like a golf leaderboard. It's not how many strokes back you are from the leader. It's how many guys you got to leapfrog over.
Right. It's fluid. And Roy Williams, I talked to him last week. I would bet you anything North Carolina has a pretty good year. Like last in the ACC last year. And in my world of coaching, as an assistant or as a head coach, Roy Williams' teams were the hardest teams to beat. You could prepare for them. You kind of knew what they were doing. He still runs a lot of the box set, a lot of the secondary break of North Carolina. But Roy Williams' team were the hardest to beat. They were just tough, and that's the way Huggins has been his entire time.
Yeah, and as tough a year as they had last year, Garrison Brooks is back and getting a lot of love on the All-American lists. I know he's on your Mount Rushmore list for big men.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's a guy, he's next in the long line of All-Americans. But if you want to sit at the big table, here's my list. You got to win at North Carolina. Garza, terrific. He gets 20 every night. Trace Jackson Davis, don't at me. I know I went to Indiana, but this is going to be a first-team All-American. Jeremiah Robinson Earl is going to average at least, I'll say somewhere 15 and 11. And then there's Garrison Brooks. I really see a resurgence coming for North Carolina this year.
And he's got Armando Bacot. As another kind of twin towers like this West Virginia team has.
And they've got some guards that are young Here we go.
Yeah, we saw this in the quarterfinal game against Utah State. They put on an 18-0 run against the Aggies, and it was all because of this defense.
You know, Bob Huggins' team is playing really good defense, but the one thing that they have really struggled with is ball in the middle of the court. And now, hey, when they got taken out of bounds, this is when VCU gets tough on the inbounds pressure, the trapping. You got to go to it again. You got to get the ball in the middle of the floor to spread this defense.
Look at Culver blowing that up.
Who's the foul on? What?
It's on Derek Culver.
All right. I mean, we're only, 50 feet in the air.
Yeah, that was just a little short of a mugging, but it's tough to see from up here.
I thought it was a good play.
Not quite the crow's nest in Cameron Indoor, but we are on the concourse level of the Sanford Pentagon. Great vantage point to check out some good college basketball to start the season. Watkins off the mark, offensive rebound by the senior Douglas.
Now that'll really make Huggins nuts.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
No, you've got to clean the backboard. Good back cut.
Highland, no. Was it in the cylinder? Yes, it was.
And I'm telling you, as bad a view as I had on that steal is as good a view as I had on that, and that was clearly a goaltend.
Yeah, we have the slam cam view of that. They get it into Culver and back into the hands of Taz Sherman. Under 6 minutes to go. That's what stands between West Virginia and a trip to the championship game, and a bad pass by Sherman.
And a bad setup by Huggins. That is terrible. Nobody's in the middle of the zone. Nobody's in the middle of the press. No one's coming to the ball between you see the half court here. You see there's a crossover classic decal and a bad boy Mowers decal right at half court, and nobody is filling that right there. You got to come up into here against the press. Nobody came. You're going to get beat. It's going to be a run if you don't get someone in that area against that press. They're going to steal it 3 or 4 times.
It's a run already.
Yes,
now,
it is.
8-1 VCU run to get right back in this contest.
They have made it really, really hard on Miles McBride to get the ball. Double team and nobody's moving.
Close to a 5-second call. It is a 5-second call.
And your other ball handler is down the court. Sean McNeil, you don't have any ball handlers down here. They're jumping McBride. You don't want the bigs handling it. Look at this. Look at McNeil's way down the court right here. I mean, nobody's working to get open. That's just a bad press break.
Now Emmett Matthews is going to check in for Shebue. So Culver's still on the floor, but they're going a little bit smaller, trying to get some more ball handling out on the floor for the Mountaineers. It's a 3-possession ball game with 5:22 to go. Baldwin, a little too much dribbling. Taz Sherman picks it off. And another errant pass by Sherman, but Culver's there to pick up the track.
Well, Matthews knocked it free. Sherman with a terrible pass, but Matthews stayed with it and knocked it free to Culver.
Culver's now 2 off his career high. He's got a game-high 23. Baldwin goes down. And it looked like they called a foul on West Virginia.
I think they called a timeout.
Unless they got a timeout.
Yeah, I think Mike Rhodes jumped up and got himself a timeout.
Well, it's turning out to be a career afternoon for number 1 in white, Derek Culver, the 6'10 junior out of Youngstown. He's 2 off his career high with 23 points, but his career high in rebounds is 21. He's got 15 today. His career high in field goals made is 9. He's got 8 so far, and his career high in blocks is 3, and he's 1 off that.
I just love his toughness and his stick-to-itiveness. He doesn't flinch when something bad happens. You know, he's not the most polished guy. That was a pretty sweet move there, though. But you know what? He stays with it. He stays with it. He stays with it. And that's the result. I'm telling you, if more kids just did what that kid does, I don't care if you're 6 feet or 6'8". If you just had a toughness and a stick to it, and I'm not messing around, you know, bad things happen, I don't care. I'm gonna keep battling. What a bad entry from Curry.
And then the freshman Baldwin couldn't handle it on the other end, off his fingertips out of bounds, and now West Virginia has the ball with 4:43 to go. West Virginia's committed 19 turnovers today. And they're up 11.
Yeah.
McNeil. Yes.
Wow, he just out-muscled, out-strength Highland.
So he had 16 in the quarterfinals. He's got 16 today. Sean McNeil, 22 in white. And we've got a foul on the floor. Let's see Sean McNeil in action.
Yeah, he just took it to the baseline, kind of took what the defense gave him, and then you kind of squeezed it through there. He wanted to foul. You're not going to get that. Hey, can I do something real quick?
Yes, please.
My sister, Jackie, is battling COVID and kind of canceled Thanksgiving for my entire family. And I just want to wish her a happy Thanksgiving. I know she's watching, and to tell her I love her. And she's battling. Let's put it that way. And but anyway, shout out to my sister, Jackie Luckowitz-Dockich, or Dockich-Luckowitz, I guess.
Our thoughts and prayers are with her.
Thank you. Probably should know my sister's name.
Free throws by Vince Williams. Here's McBride kicking it out to McNeil.
Great defense by Highland, and then his teammates let him down by not coming to the ball.
A follow by McBride. So now the lead's back up to 13. Under 4 minutes to go. There's a nice pass inside, and Corey Douglas cashes in.
Yeah, nice cut. Really nice cut. Ball again, top of the key. Who's going to help here? Like, if you want to get back in this game, you might think about fouling 34.
Floater, no good. Shibwe picks it up under the basket and will go to the line.
Oh, McBride's going to get a look. Great defense. Watch this. Coming out, 2 guys. Ball short. Defense didn't help me. Defense didn't help.
Through our eyes. Falls Park, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Just a stone's throw from where we are, the Sanford Pentagon. Second semifinal in the Bad Boy Mowers Crossover Classic from the Mount Rushmore State. West Virginia 3.5 minutes away from joining Western Kentucky in that championship game, which will be tomorrow afternoon right here on ESPN with myself, Rich Hollenberg, and my cohort in crime, Dan Dockich. We hope you'll join us the day after Thanksgiving for that. I think the best news for all the 8 teams who showed up here, they're getting 3 games under their belt.
You mentioned it. 13 is what's needed to get in the tournament. You knock 3 off here. It's pretty good. And again, shout out to Leah Miller and her crew for getting this done. Remember, this was supposed to be in the Bahamas. And then it moved here. A lot of teams, you said 7 of the initial 8, right? Dropped out, or 6 of the initial 8.
6, I believe it was, yep. Memphis was an original. West Virginia was originally on the docket. Everyone else, one reason or another, had a pass on coming out here. There's a layup by Highland.
Somebody got to get in the middle.
McBride to Sherman.
Great play by Sherman. The defense was there, but Sherman just hung in the air and got it in over Douglas.
Here's Douglas on the other end. Bounce pass, Williams, blocked by the rim.
This is big here. If you're West Virginia, you want a great possession, get to the foul line or get something around the basket. You know, play inside out. There you
Jump
go.
stop, nice move by Miles McBride. Deuce McBride with a dozen.
Yeah, it really now, you're forcing VCU to kind of shoot quick if they want to get back in this, and the more time they take, the better off, obviously, it is.
Another rebound for Oscar. He has 16 boards today.
See, that's a bad possession.
Yeah, quick trigger.
Yeah, that's, you know, you got the bucket in the middle, reverse it, trust that you'll get it back, and away you go.
And Larry Harrison on the sidelines pointing to Miles McBride and then pointing to his own temple saying, think about that.
Right.
Good time to teach in the opening stages of a season.
And I would argue that there has not been a better teacher / developer of players than Bob Huggins and his staff. Ronnie Everhard, you mentioned Larry Harrison there. Eric Martin, a terrific player at Cincinnati for him. They teach, man. They teach. They get guys better. They get guys that maybe others don't think are good enough and make them more than good enough.
Yeah. Huggy Bear coaches them hard, and he loves them hard.
Yeah,
His players will run through a wall for him.
You know, it's funny. It's almost like taboo to coach them hard, right? Like, I was listening today, everybody complained about Bruce Arians because he dared.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, geez, Bruce. You know what? Maybe Bruce Arians, who criticized Tom Brady, maybe they have a deal like, hey, Tom, I'm going to criticize you, and it's going to get everybody. Oh, geez, Bruce. You know what? Maybe Bruce Arians, who criticized Tom Brady, maybe they have a deal like, hey, Tom, I'm going to criticize you, and it's going to get everybody else in this operation in line. But my gosh, anytime somebody criticizes, it just makes them crazy.
Well, if there's one thing that I think this generation of student athletes and just youngsters in general lack, it's a feeling of accountability. And if I know Tom Brady, which I don't, I would assume he welcomes that accountability.
Look, I've always said this. That's a bad call. I've always said that everybody wants to be coached. Now, there's a difference between coaching them hard and abuse. I get all that. But he coaches hard. And as you said, loves them hard. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Real players. I'm talking about real players now. They want to be coached tough. The fake guys, they'll whine, complain. The real guys want tough coaching.
Well, the lead has ballooned to 16 for the Mountaineers. There's coming up on a minute and a half left. Looks like West Virginia will be taking on Western Kentucky.
Who do you like?
You know, Western Kentucky was really impressive in that first semifinal.
You know, they play a style, I think, that's pretty good against West Virginia, meaning they drive it. They spread it, they drive it, they get to the foul line.
Yeah, if you can get Culver and Sheboy in foul trouble, then it's advantage Hilltoppers.
I agree. And they're quick enough to handle any kind of pressure that West Virginia wants to give them. But I think West Virginia will be favored in the game by a couple. But do not sleep. It's going to be a heck of a final tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, over and back.
And a rematch of a multi-team event a couple of years ago in Myrtle Beach when Western Kentucky upset West Virginia.
You did that game, right?
I did.
Just a bad play. Just jump up and knock it in.
Let's take a look at our play of the game, brought to you by Complete Sports Management. And despite the loss, the play of the game turned in by the VCU Rams.
Anytime big guy runs down the middle of the floor and can get a dunk, that's pretty good play, particularly against a team as good as West Virginia defensively.
And he snuck in a double hand slap on the backboard.
Nice.
That one partially blocked. And now the shot clock is off, so West Virginia will be able to run this one out, except for the fact that Kedrian Johnson tried a jump shot.
What are you doing? Like, I get you. You know what? He just came in the game. You might as well. Now, you do it again, you may not get in another game all year.
Would you say that if you were the coach of that team?
Nah. Probably. I always told walk-ons, look, just go get something done here. This is your chance. So maybe I would.
Win number 883 in his illustrious coaching career for Bob Huggins, and it puts his Mountaineers in the championship game of the Bad Boy Mowers Crossover Classic. Now it's time for our player of the game, brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers. And no surprise here, it's Derek Culver with a monster double-double, 23 points and 15 boards.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to him going against Charles Basie tomorrow. It's going to be terrific. But tonight, he was just tougher than everybody. And I believe he is going to lead the country in double-doubles. He's literally a walking double-double. He's not the most skilled guy, but he's so willing, so tough, so aggressive that you love everything about him. And let's be honest, coming into the game tomorrow, it is a lottery pick in Basie going up against as tough a guy as he's going to play against all year in Derek Culver.
So it's Country Roads, take me home, West Virginia. You are in the championship game tomorrow. We will be calling that game, and it will be against Rick Stansbury and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. That'll do it for now from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, as 15th ranked West Virginia gets past VCU. Your final score 78-66. For everybody here in Sioux Falls on the ESPN crew, including my inimitable broadcast partner, Dan Dockich, I'm Rich Hollenberg saying so long. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you tomorrow, but more basketball still to come.